Good morning, my fellow hookers. And I hope you're having a glorious, glorious Sunday morning. I actually got to sleep in till 6:30. Yes! And then my brain said, nah, it's time to get up. So I thought I would start this video with a very, very massive thank you. I know that crochet channels, let's just fix that. There we go. Crochet channels have a tendency to grow slowly, and I'm just so excited that we are almost at 100 subscribers already. Thank you to everybody from the very, very first to the very, very last. You are truly, truly, truly so special to me. The fact that you put up with me, with my postings and all of that. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank my lovely Amber for my gifts. And for all of you people who have toxic family members, I am so blessed. My daughter-in-law, bless her, picked this out for me, for my office here, and I cannot thank her enough. My heart is always happy when I'm hooking. So I appreciate her for thinking of me when she was shopping, and I can't thank you enough. So Lisa, truly, you are my heart. And I'm so blessed because I get a visit from everybody very, very soon. I really need to get a nicer cloth than this old towel, but needs must. So for now, until I find something that I truly appreciate, it is going to be my old towel that I've had since I got married 30 years ago. And I will be doing today, just so that you can get prepared for it, we're doing another granny stitch. But a lot of people call it the modern granny. I know that my mom has done this even when I was little, and I'm old. So this old hooker has seen this stitch for at least 50 years. And it is probably one of my favorite granny stitches because I can go on autopilot, and it really is. Oh, my nails, I forgot to do them. Don't look. It really is probably one of my favorite. I can go on autopilot. I can make this square. I can make this rectangle. Today we are going to be doing a baby blanket because my table is running a little bit low. So I have this really, really, really old stuff. As you can see, it's from good old Kresge's. And for those of you who maybe didn't have Kresge's back in the day, it would be similar to, oh goodness, I know Australia still has Woolworths. Kmart, maybe, if you've got Kmart still. Here in Canada, we've still got Fields. It would be like the budget version of Fields. And as you can see, it was so very long ago that this was purchased. I think Kresge's has been out of business, oh goodness, probably since the early 90s, maybe even the late 80s. But there was a huge store in the little town that I'm from. And as you can see, you're not going to find yarn for this price anymore. But it is one that requires a 3.25 millimeter hook. I know I promised to do a video for someone, and I'm going to be doing this. And this particular one is actually made in Canada. You don't find that very often anymore. But there are some beautiful producers here in Canada that, oh goodness, I'm hoping I can maybe one day be able to afford to get some of their wool. It is just gorgeous. So this, again, color lot, dye lot. I actually have two different dye lots that are so close that I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to use both dye lots. But this stuff has been sitting, I think I got it at a yard sale probably a good 3 years ago. And it's been sitting there. Penny, my goodness, you two are driving me crazy this morning. My puppy and my cat have decided it is time to play wrestling on the bed down here. But I got this probably about good 3 years ago, but it's been sitting there, and I thought, I got to do something with it. So I'm going to be doing the modern granny with you today, but I will not be using a 3.25 millimeter hook, although I do have one. I will be using a 3.5 because a lot of people don't have those quarter sizes. I do. I have it all the way from a 2 to the 2.25 to the 2.5 to the 2.75 to the 3, 3.25, 3.5, 3 3/4. I've got them all the way up to, I think, a 4.5. I don't think I've got the 4 3/4. But for those of you who are still working on just a very, very basic set that you can put literally everything into. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Is I'm just going to be using a 3.5 because I can. So I'm going to find my 3.5. Oh, there's my 3. I could go down to a 3, but I might have to run back upstairs for my 3.5. Nope, there it is. Get to use sunshiny yellow with my sunshiny yellow yarn. And oops, where is it? There it is. Okay, can we see that? I will be using my 3.5 today, just so y'all can see that. Okay. Goodness. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. And like I said, my baby blankets are getting a bit low, and let's be honest, this time of year is a plethora of babies being born. Literally, I think it's every second or third young woman that comes to my table is sporting a baby bump. So between baby bumps, baby showers, all of that coming up. And I guess I should just do my naughty hooker. I've definitely not had enough caffeine this morning, so please forgive me if I'm drinking as I'm talking. No slurping in this house. So anyway, but baby season is coming up, and we have a bumper crop of babies up here, and I'm down to, I think, probably like a half a dozen blankets. And I know that there are some ladies up here that have a ton more because they literally just do like mindless. That's not fair. That's not fair. Not mindless. But this is going to be mindless. By the time I get it started and you guys figure this all out, it is going to be absolutely mindless. So you are going to need, obviously, your darning needles. You'll get to use the small one today. You're going to need approximately, let me just see if I can see a yardage. Sometimes these old ones don't have yardages on them. Of course not. 300 yards. So these are 300 yards, 274 meters, and I have a bunch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, let's not show the secret yet. 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have about 1,800. Now, I'm not even going to come close to using all of this. I'm absolutely not. I would think that I'll probably end up using, I don't know, probably maybe 6 or 7 for sure. So, but like I said, I've had this forever and ever and ever, and I'm tired of having it. So today is baby blanket day. And again, this is going to be one of those blankets that once you get started on it, you can go on autopilot, take it for a ride somewhere, take it outside, take it to the beach. Yes, I take my stitching to the beach. I am an avid hooker. I hook everywhere. If there's an opportunity for me to sit down, there's hooking coming out. But I would suggest you're probably going to need at least 1,800 meters of this thin stuff. And again, this pattern lends itself well to any kind of yarn. But if your yarn is requiring you to, oopsie, I turn that upside right. If your yarn is requiring a 3.25 millimeter, okay, I would go just a half a size, like a quarter of a size up. Go to the next size up. If it's requiring a 5, you can go to a 5.5. This is a really, really nice one. And then I have, because we're going to be doing some fun stuff with this. You know me. I can't just do plain. This is, again, stuff I got, I think, actually from the same yard sale. This stuff is a little thicker, but what we're using it for, it's not going to matter. Okay, so I have these two. Aren't they amazing? Like, they're so cool in the light. I love them. And we're going to be using this for the body and this for the accents. Okay, just bear with me. You're going to see where I'm going with it, but you're gonna love it. Look at that. Look at it. So cute. Oh, I get so excited with yarn. Am I the only one that does that? I can't be the only one that does that. All right, so I'm just going to get everything all set up, and then I will be right back. So see you in a minute. And we're back. Okay, so to get started, we're going to need our basic color. And again, oh goodness, I don't need that one. If you're looking at what colors to use, okay, always choose the one you've got the most of. So in this case, this is all I have left of these two colors. That's it. We're done. And I'm going to be kind of sad because I do like this stuff. It's super, super soft. It is got a little sparkle to it, and it's purple. And as much as I'm not a big fan of greens, this is a really, really pretty baby green. So, but we're going to start with our basic color, our main color, okay? And these ones are normally pretty easy to pull out the center. And I'm lying here. Yes, I have the center out already. Okay. So, and I'm not lying. This is all the yarn barf I have. Yay! And this stuff is actually really quite simple to pull out of. So I found my end already, but I want to make sure I don't have any knots. So I'm just going to pull that over to the side of my table. Perfect. Okay, now I've got lots to start with. Alrighty, so here we go. And again, please don't look at my nails. And I'm going to start, sorry, let's slow that down, Sherry. Slow that down. We're going to start with our slip knot. Again, there are so many ways to do this. Here we go. And we're also going to be carrying this yarn up. Okay, so you're only going to have 2 ends at the beginning, and then the end when you change, if you're going to be changing colors in that contrasting color, you'll have an end there, but you're going to have minimal ends by carrying your yarn. This square can also, or this can also be used as just a basic granny square, but I like big blankets out of this. That's why I make my baby blankets out of this stuff. If you hear birds, sorry, I have my door open because it's just such a glorious morning out. It's probably about, I don't know, 55, 60 degrees, and everything, sorry, in Fahrenheit and Celsius terms, that would be, I don't know, 9, 8, something like that. Okay. And this lends itself really well to granny squares, but again, I like the big blankets out of this stuff. Again, it is a mindless thing. You can take it everywhere. You can have conversations while you're doing it. So let's get started. Again, this is how I wrap my yarn, but again, there are so many ways to do this. You can use a magic ring to start this one, but as we all know, I don't like the magic rings for the very reason that they have a tendency to come out. So I'm going to start with only 4 today because we are using such a tiny little yarn. So I'm going to chain 4. Let's do that one more time, just for everybody who's new. Welcome to anybody who is new, and welcome to being a hooker. Oh goodness, I'm getting all tangled. So again, I'm holding, I'm wrapping, I'm holding, I'm putting it through, pulling it up, and guess what? We have it. We have a slip stitch. We have a slip knot. Sorry, I always get those just. Okay, so we're going to go yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. We have the startings of our ring done. We're going to go back to that very first stitch. We're just going to catch it, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. We've done our slip stitch. Now we have a little itty bitty ring that I have messed up. So we're going to do that one more time. We're going to take it right down to my slip knot. And I do want a bit of a tighter center to this. So that's why I was going to do 4, but obviously this morning I'm not caffeinated enough. So I am going to change it and do a 5. There's my 5 chains. Going to come back. Going to go through, and pull through. Now that's a much easier one to deal with. Deal with. So now we're going to get started. And as you all know already, and for those of you who are new, I don't like doing chains to start. I find that they look sloppier. You can see your beginnings and your ends. We don't want that. So we're going to pull that up just a bit. We're going to do the twist. We're going to come through our ring, grab the yarn, get rid of that. There we go. And we're going to pull through 2 and pull through 2. Okay, now we can do 2 more regular crochets, double crochets, sorry. If I can find my hole through the camera. And there's 1 and 2. So our very first granny cluster is now done. Okay, there we are. So first granny cluster is done. we're going to chain 2. I'm sorry, no, we're not. For this one, we are not chaining 2. We are chaining 1. Okay, let's get back in there. One of these days, I will figure out how to do this through the camera without looking like I'm fumbling. And now we're going to do another granny cluster. 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, I'm catching the end of that yarn. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. I'm catching the end of that yarn underneath this so that I don't have to do as much work at the end. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we've done 3 granny clusters already. See, we've got that, and we're going to do one more. So chain 1 and 1, 2, and our last granny cluster is done. 3. Now, because we're only chaining 1, instead of doing that half double, we are going to find that first standing double crochet. See that there? There's the other half of the V. There we go. And we're not going to finish this. Because we're going to be carrying this through so we don't have so many ends, we're going to be starting, and I think I'll start with, I've got more of the purple, so we'll start with the purple. We're actually going to change colors. And there's my end. Now this purple is going to drive me crazy because it's in a ball and it's not from the center. So it is going to be all over the place. I hope my cat and my dog don't decide that they need to. So we're going to finish that single crochet join. Okay. And then we're going to chain 1 by grabbing both. There we go. Chain 1. I'm going to tug this just a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to ensure that I've got the ball end like that. Okay, but I'm going to turn my work. And again, we want that nice straight square. So I've already done my single crochet over here. So now I'm going to chain 3. 1, I know it's different. 2, 3, and I'm going to go right into my next one, and I'm going to single crochet. Watch for it. 1, 2, 3, single crochet in that same spot. Okay, so I know it looks a bit wonky right now. It will be fine, I promise you. 1, 2, 3, go into my next corner, single crochet. 1, 2, 3, single crochet. There we go. Then 1, 2, 3. Are you seeing a pattern now? Go find my next corner. They're so small with only the single crochet. So single crochet or single chain, sorry. 1, 2, 3 chains and single crochet. You got this. Now we're coming to our last corner and there is a huge mess going on here. It will be better, I promise you. 1, whoopsie, 2, 3. Now we have to finish that corner, but we have to make sure that we've got this guy at the back. Oops, at the back. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to this initial corner and it's a bit wonky, but make sure, okay, we've got 1, 2, 3. Yep. So I'm going to do my single crochet, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're still going to use our half crochet, half double join, but we're going to have to do a chain first because there's 3 here. So we chain 1, then we do our half double to join in that first single crochet, and we're done. But wait, we're not, because now we have to bring back that yellow. So we're going to drop the purple. In my case, it's purple, and yours might be something different. And we're going to bring back that yellow to finish, oopsie, to finish that stitch. Okay. But we're not just going to drop this. I want to hide this. There's nothing worse to me than seeing that corner where there's all the color change going on, where you're dragging that up terribly. No, 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 no. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back. This is a very fiddly bit. Grab our yarn, chain one. No, we're not. We're doing our standing double, Sherry. Get that back there. There we go. Okay. So now I want this in the back. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to do the twist. And I'm going to come back in that same spot. I'm going to bring it forward. And I'm going to go through two. Wait. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to go through the last two. So now at this point, this is on the front. And what you're doing is you're actually hiding this in the stitch. You'll be able to see this better as we go along. And I know the first few rounds are going to be incredibly fiddly. Okay? So you've got your first double crochet, but wait, I forgot to spin. So let's spin that around. We're going to do our second. And as you can see, it's so fiddly back here. It will get better, I promise. And there's our granny cluster. Okay? Now we're going to chain one in this. Oh, excuse me. My nose is very, very itchy. Lots of pollen's out right now. In this, okay, we're going to do, in that chain three space, we're going to do our granny cluster. Now, here's where sometimes using the two different size yarns really makes a difference. You can use, because it's a bigger size yarn, you can use two chains instead of three. I just kind of like this look. I think it's nicer for baby. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do my corner, which is always 3 grannies, but chain 1 and 3 double crochets, not 3 grannies. I'm going to do a granny cluster of 3 double crochets. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, I'm going to chain 1 again. Okay, see that? And I'm going to do my granny cluster in the chain 3 spot. Now, as you can see, my yellow is really taking a back seat to that pop of purple. That was a nifty bit of alliteration there. And you can see we've got this nice little pop of purple. And I kind of like that look only because this yellow is just so boring. And so many baby blankets, especially if somebody doesn't know what, the person is having, so many baby blankets are kind of boring. Sorry, I thought I was going to say, they're either just yellow or they're blue or this gives it a really nice pop of color. And because again, we don't know what baby is going to be because they've chosen not to tell us, or they want to be surprised themselves, or this is somebody who's just a friend of a friend. Oops, I split the yarn. There we go. Let's fix that. There we go. So this is really nice. And when you get to the green, you can see that that's again going to add a little bit of color again. So this yellow is definitely going to take a background to this purple and the green, but you use so little of the purple and the green that you're great with it. Like, woohoo. Okay, so I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to come to do my corner again, which is always granny cluster. 1, 2, oopsie, I lost it. Let's try that again. Oops. Oh, look at the mess I'm making. My goodness. There we go. All fixed. So we go 1, 2, 3. Goodness, this yarn is so old. And then chain 1, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. So there's our corner. Okay, now I got to do our side. Granny cluster again. Chain 1 and granny cluster corner again. And you can see how quickly this is going to work up. It is going to become absolutely mindless. And the bigger it gets, of course, the only dipsy doodling you're going to have to do is, oh goodness, is on those corners. 3, chain 1, do our side, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and now we've got to finish our corner. And look at that, our ready to go. It's ready to go for us to pick up. So we do 1, 2, 3, oops, 3, there we go. Now we are going to find that initial standing double. We're going to find both loops. We're going to pull through, but rather than finishing our joining single, we are now going to join the single with our purple. And we're going to tuck that back to the back. We're going to twist our work so that we're again, okay, and you can see this looks really, really wonky. It won't. I promise it won't. So now I'm just going to do a starting double crochet. I'm not going to do the chain. I don't like how it works. Okay. So now as you can see, our yellow is already at the back waiting for us. But now we're just going to go ahead. So we're going to do again, we've got a single crochet, 1, 2, 3 chains, and we're going to do a double crochet in that side, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and it's not a double crochet, it is a single crochet for those of you who caught my mistake, and 1, 2, 3, and you can see how easy this is to just get lost in it. Okay, we're at our corner, so we've got our single, our chain 3, but we've got to do a single back in that corner. And I'm going to pause you for one moment. Sorry, my puppy had gotten in a little bit of trouble and she was chasing a squirrel and got stuck. Okay, so now as you can see, okay, these are kind of a little unorthodox. And that's fine. That is totally fine. Do what you think makes you happy. Others will find it happy too. And then again, you might get some yarn at a craft sale, at a yard sale, at a sale that somebody had going, and you might have gotten a bag of, I don't know what's in there, but it's all yarn. And guess what? You might find what you think is the ugliest, awfulest, nastiest color. And like what happened to me, I actually ordered a yarn by mistake. And it was from a hobby in Denmark. And I got it here and I went, oh no, I don't like it. Now, to my credit, I had also ordered the other color, gold, okay, that was there. And I was glad I did, because this one, forgive what I'm about to say, but you know when babies have little itty bitty babies, like I'm talking 2-3 weeks old, they have this yellowish, especially if they're just on formula or breast milk still, that's it, they're nothing else. So we're talking less than a month old, and they have those yellowy kind of nasty poos that have the tendency to run all the way up their back and all the way down their legs. Okay. Yeah, add a little ginger ale into that, and you've got the color that this yarn was. I hated it. But I thought, well, it's one of those big balls. I've got to do something with it. So let's continue. So I said, well, I'll just make a small shawl or like a wraparound scarf kind of thing. And I did. And I went to this amazing, wonderful fall sale that our farmers market puts on, and sold it literally in the first 2 minutes, because again, we're going into that corner, single crochet. Literally sold it in the first 2 minutes because the lady that came in to buy it, 1, 2, 3, single crochet back into that corner. The lady that came in to buy it was wearing the exact same color pants. So I absolutely hated this color. I hated it. I actually called it effervescent poop stain. That wasn't quite the word I used, but it will do for now. YouTube doesn't like nasty words, so I'm not going to put nasty words, but it looked like effervescent poop stain. And it was awful. And if I had any left, I would show you, but I don't. It was the nastiest color, yellowy, mustardy brown color that you could possibly imagine. And this lady loved it. But for me, again, I hated it. But everybody is different. So this color combo, you might be going, ew, Sherry, what are you doing? And I'm going, yeah, but I like it. Somebody else will too. And those are the ones when you go, ooh, I can't believe you're using those colors. Or I'm using, goodness, there we go. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. You're using those colors. Why are you using those colors? Why am I using those colors? What is going on here? And you're going to get to a market, or you're going to find that perfect friend where that yarn combo, you're going to give the gift to them and they're going to go, oh, I love it. And you're going to go, you're so weird, but that's okay. I'm glad you love it. So this one probably, even though, again, it is probably one of my favorite combos, it is going to have to find that perfect person. Okay, so I'm back now to my end now. And you can see it's really coming together nicely. Again, that purple is just popping out, making that yellow recede. I adore this. I absolutely do. And so many of you are going, what are you thinking? So again, for our corner, we're going to do our single crochet, chain 1, yarn over, find our starting single. It's a bit fiddly here because I did not do the chain 1. I don't like doing the chain 1. I find that it makes it awkward. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, but I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to grab my yellow, and now I'm going to finish it. And there we go. Done. So now I'm going to do my standing double, pull it up, do the twist. Oh, wait, nope, forgot to turn. So now my purple is at the back, and as you can see a little bit of where the yellow was pulled forward, but we don't care because we're going to hide that. So do the twist, push through, catch it, pull it back, yarn over, pull through 2, wait, we've got to pull that purple, where is it? There it is. We're going to pull that purple back, grab it so that it's hidden in the stitch, and now I'm going to pull back through 2. And as you can see now, okay, you can still see the purple, and that's fine, but it's not going to be as in your face. Now, I probably could have done that one better, and as we go along, I will show you how to do it a little tidier. But for now, let's just be kind to ourselves. I was actually having a conversation, so now we're going to start with our clusters. I was having a conversation with somebody online on one of my favorite YouTube channels, and it really reminded me that we do have to be so kind to ourselves. The world is in such a mess that when we are kind to ourselves, as you can see, all I'm doing is granny clusters, chain 1. When we are kind to ourselves to start, we can then see the kindness of others. And if others don't want to be kind, that's not our problem. We can then separate ourselves from that unkindness or that toxicity. I've got a friend who actually just had to separate herself. Okay, so as you can see, again, little fingers can get in here, but they're not going to get wrapped up. And once we do our ends in, okay, once we do all these ends in, there's not going to be anything for babies to get caught up in, okay? So, just be patient. This is going to be a lovely baby blanket. Once it gets all washed, this is all going to tighten up just a touch, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, okay? But I had a dear friend of mine who actually had to separate herself from another friend that she considered a very, very close friend. But again, oopsie, I forgot to do a yarn over. Yarn over, push through that corner, chain 3, okay? So right in there. And then we do our granny cluster, chain 1, granny cluster. But you can see how when you have to interact with people that are toxic, whether it's in the work, whether it's in public, especially if you work retail, when you're kind to yourself, those toxic people don't matter as much because you know that you can come home and be happy in your own mind. You can look in that mirror and say, you know what? I had a great day. day. I don't care if Mrs. Toxicity came through to see my till, or came through my garden center, or came through my yarn shop, or came through my office, wherever you work, or just came to visit me, because we all have those neighbors, don't we? You know what? I can live through the toxicity because I am happy in my own skin. I am happy in my own mind. Okay, we're at a corner again. See how quick that works? When you're chatting, it just comes so quickly. So again, we're going to do a granny cluster corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 more double crochets. Back in that corner. 1, 2, and 3, and now we can go back to the side, so chain 1. But honestly, you know, I had such a rough time in my life where I was sad all the time. I didn't like who I was. Life was so hard. And I finally said, I can't do this anymore. At 12 years old, I was called a Pollyanna. In fact, I'm pretty sure I might have driven my mother crazy with my Pollyanna-ness. I could see the good in everyone. It didn't matter whether they were, you know, toxic. Well, I shouldn't use this name because I've got a dear, dear, dear friend whose name is Tanya. I will use Toxic Tanya. And for any of those who are named Tanya out there, know that I do love you and I do appreciate you. This is just a name that starts with T. So I will use that one. But Toxic Tanya, honestly, they were in my life every day. So I'm at a corner again, chain 1, 3 double crochets back in that chain 3 spot. Whoops. Oh, goodness, Sherry. What are you doing? There we go. Nope. Got to start over again. There we go. But yeah, when you have those toxic people in your life and you let them infect you, you let their toxicity seep into your mind and into your worst, into your heart. It's so hard. It is so hard to allow yourself to like yourself, to be kind to yourself. Don't let that happen. Oh, goodness. Okay, there we go. Just had to move my butt around. This chair is definitely not good for sitting in for long periods. Okay, so again, we're almost done this round again. So we spent half an hour together and we have learned a new granny square. Are you happy with that? Find reasons to be happy. When life has a tendency to go, nah, you have to be miserable, just say, no, I don't. I can pretend to be miserable. For those people who love drama, there are so many of you out there. For the people who love drama, you will get drawn into their circle of dramaness so many times, and you'll just have to give yourself a big sigh and go, I got this. But remember, when you are kind to yourself and when you love yourself, life has a way of working itself out. Okay? So here I am back at my starting corner again. Hopefully this wasn't too blurry for you. And I'm going to do my finishing single crochet. So I'm not yarning over because this is just a single. I'm going to come through my standing double and I'm going to yarn over, stopping there, pulling my yellow to the front and picking up my purple and yarn over, pull through. Okay, see how easy that was? Yes, I know it's a bit of a mess in the back here, but as you can see, that yarn, the carryover yarn, is really starting to disappear in our stitches. And that's what we want. Yeah, you can see it a little bit, but it's much nicer than having to do 50,000 of these, right? And it's just so much faster. Okay, so now we are going to flip it over. And again, I'm going to find my yellow yarn and I'm going to flip it to the front and get over there. Okay, it's not behaving right now. That's okay. I can be patient. And I'm going to find my center. Whoop, there it is. And I'm going to yarn over, put it through. And I'm not doing that chain. Did you see I didn't do a chain there? All I did was a single crochet. I just find that it looks just so much nicer, and it makes it harder to see those corners. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, and this is your repeat. See how easy this is? Single crochet, 1, 2, 3, single crochet. And this, again, this is why if you're going on a trip and you're going to be stuck in a car, a plane, a boat, on a ship, you can even take these on a ship. Yes, you can take these on a plane. They do prefer that you have either plastic or wooden, and you use the larger hooks, because it's harder to, oh, forgive me, YouTube. It's harder to stab somebody with something like this, right? Because it's going to hurt, and you might leave somebody a bruise, but that's not going to go through. Whereas some of these smaller ones, let's see if I can find my 2. Oh, 2.5, close enough. Some of these smaller ones, if I'm pushing, I might get through the skin there. So they don't like these smaller metal hooks, but if you can get yourself a very, very tiny wooden hook, or use a larger yarn, okay, they don't mind. The only other problem you're going to have is your scissors. So that's why I actually have a couple of different kinds. Oh, there they are. A couple of different kinds of, ouch. That's why these ones hurt. These ones are so sharp. I actually have a couple of different kinds that look very similar to this. Or you can get those really, really super, super pretty ones that look like birds. And they have this super tiny, tiny, tiny cutting area. Those ones, the Department of Transportation, DOT down in the States, maybe, or the Canadian Border Patrol, the Customs and Border Patrol down in the States, Homeland Security, all of those places. I have flown even after 2011. I have flown with my stitching. And again, I'm very careful what size hook I'm using. I'm very careful what kind of yarn I'm using. I'm very careful that I have, we had an 8-hour flight, and I would have cried because there's only so many books you can read and so many movies you can watch. But if I'm stitching, I can make 8 hours fly by. Oh, that was a bad pun, but that's okay. Fly by. And honestly, I know that there are other people that have hooked in knitting needles. I don't like quite so much because they're a point. They're an actual point. But I will carry this all in a separate bag, okay, so that they can put it through. They can check everything in this, and they're quite all right with it. So if you're wanting something to work on the plane, or going across a border or anything like that, use something that's a little thicker. I don't know if I would even tempt my fate using even the 3.5 that I've got here, although this one isn't too bad. There we go. I might go up to a 4 or 4.5, depending on what yarn I want to take with. But pick something that's fairly thick. I certainly wouldn't go any smaller than a 3.5, because again, in a metal hook, you can actually hurt somebody, and they don't want that. So, and as for scissors, I would use probably one of those really pretty embroidery scissors. If you look on Amazon, you can get beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ones. And that actually is one of my treats to myself that I'm going to do here fairly shortly, is I'm going to get some really pretty embroidery scissors for my stitching. Excuse me again. So here, this is it. And we've already done 2, 4, 5. We're working on our 6th row already. And we're only 43 minutes in, and I've been doing a lot of chatting. So again, choose 2 colors you like. I will continue to work on this, and I will make it bigger, bigger, bigger. And I will do a very, very quick video on, oh goodness, those nails, my goodness. I did promise somebody I would do a video on and post a video on the different sizes in the different brands. And from here on in, I'm going to try very, very hard to remember. I'm going to leave my little notes to myself all around my little office here. And I'm going to try very, very hard to show you and tell you the different sizes that I'm using. So if I have a 5.5, it's actually a size, I have no idea. Oh, I've got one here. There we go. Ha! There we go. So if I'm using a size 6mm, I will then tell you it's a US size J or a size 10. So 6mm is most of the world, but again, the US still likes to have the different size categories. And I'm fine with that. I don't care. My mother always used the 10 or the J. She never used the millimeter because that actually came out when I was a little girl. The millimeter sizes came out way, way, way later. So I will do a very, very short video on the hook sizes, and I will also post a very quick community post on the different sizes and how they work together. So I'm going to do that. And then also I will do a very quick community post on blanket sizes so that you know whether you're doing a lovey, and I will do one of those too. I will show you how to do a lovey, and all the way up to a double, queen, king, super king bed, and how many inches, how many millimeters they're supposed to be. But for right now, we're going to leave you here. Again, I will come back. Excuse me. I will come back when I'm going to be changing color to the green so you can see how it all comes together. And you can see that these colors are quite the contrast to this very, very calm, soothing yellow. These really do add a pop, and I love them. I love adding that pop of color, and you can see that, there we go. These have quite the little bit of a, it's not a sparkle per se, it's just more of a shine. I have no idea what yarn this is. I have looked for it and looked for it and looked for it. Can't find it here in Canada. I would buy a butt ton of this stuff if I could. I love this stuff. But for right now, I'm going to leave you here. I will come back when I've done, I don't know, probably another 8 or 10 rows. Excuse me. Rounds, sorry, of this. But for some reason, there we go. My throat is calling for more caffeine, so I'm going to go and caffeinate myself and maybe even do my nails. You might even see nice nails by the time I come back with this. And I shall see you in a second video in this series. I will be putting this under 2 different ones, blankets and granny squares, because if you stop here, you have a really, really nice granny square. And you can, again, have your base color, right? So you would use this for your granny clusters, and then you could have whatever color you wanted. So you would have your base color that you have a ton of, like I do with this yellow. And then you'd have maybe 5 of these and 5 of those. And, oh, excuse me, that was very rude. And 5 of something else, and then hook them all together with another color. So these will go into this video series will go into 2 different places. It'll go into my granny squares, and it will go into a blanket series all by itself. Okay, so here we are. Keep going. I will meet up with you probably, I don't know, in 2 or 3 days. I've got lots of stuff going on in real life right now, so I'm not making videos quite as often as I was. I am so sorry about that, but I will get back at it, I promise, because we'll be able to go outside soon, and we'll be able to do this in the sunshine with the birds and the bunnies and the puppy and the cat and the dogs. And I will be warning you right now, if I am doing this outside, my daughter's dog is a Irish Wolfhound Mirema cross? Something. He's big. He is huge. He's this huge fluff ball, and he and I get along together so very, very well. So I will leave you here. We are 48 minutes into a video yet again. I truly apologize. I am very long-winded sometimes, but as you can see, it's really coming together nicely. I promise you this will look good together, and we will be finishing our baby blanket, like I said, probably in about another 3 or 4 days. So I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to finish off this video, and I shall see you, maybe with new nails, in a couple of days. For now, my name is Sherry. Have an amazing day. And I am addicted to yarn.